Hey guys, Nemesis of the Junior here, aka Mustached. I'm here to review the movie Sing. So, after seeing this being commercialized over and over again and getting a little bit sick of the commercials, I decided to go out and see this movie. And after seeing it, I must say that, my goodness, this movie broke most of my expectations. And that to me is so pleasant to see at the end of this year. So I'll go over the plot, the story, and its characters, and why I think this movie is fantastic. So the movie follows this koala, Buster Moon, who is having tough times with his Fiat experience. He has this building that he has acquired from his father, and he's put on these performances that just weren't working. So right at the bottom, at his last moments, he decides he's going to put on this performance piece where it's going to be a competition. It's going to be very American Idol. If you've ever seen American Idol, that is what this beginning of this movie will present itself as he puts out this flyer, which is a big mistake. He only put the prize at 1,000, but a error is made, and then two more zeros are added to that, making the prize money way more higher, making the allure to go to this contest and win much more grand. So that message gets spread out to all the animals. I almost said people there, all the animals, and then they come forward and they sing, of course, singing all the songs, most of which are pretty popular by today's standards, I would imagine. And at the beginning, like I said, it's very American Idol. He picks out certain individuals, and then the movie takes a turn at some point, and then that thing that I thought this movie was going to be, again, it ends up not being about that. I mean, it did seem like there was going to be a contest and there was going to be a winner, but that is not the end route of this movie. And what this movie does really good is it snapshots these characters that we follow, not just him, the contest winners that we see. We get these little snapshots into their different little worlds. We get to see their flaws in this really, really quick way. And even in that short amount of time, you get their dilemmas, you get their weaknesses, but you also get that they all can sing. They all have this super amazing talent to be able to sing. And that's sort of actually what brings them all together. And that does play a big part toward the end of the movie. So it's so interesting. Like, you have these different characters, they have different personalities, they do different types of music. It's not just the big, super obvious songs, although there are some of them. Like, they also have the little mouse character, he does very more, I want to say, classical songs. You have the rocker chick who's just, she wants to do the rock. You have the gorilla character, who I assumed was going to be the original main character when I saw the trailer. And again, this movie broke my expectation of, you're sort of following that character, but you're getting glimpses of these other characters, and you're sort of rooting for all of them at different times. And again, just where the movie takes it is really, really clever. And, this movie feels like it's almost like something out of a Japanese sort of cliche handbook, I almost want to say, and that kind of made me happy a little bit. I mean, the movie even has these little singing foxes that like pop up and then they just start singing in Japanese, and it's a pretty popularly used gimmick throughout the movie. I don't think, I mean, the one weakness that I was able to spot, at least for this, is that I don't think they landed the final hit per se. I mean, that's fine, I guess. But they were really fun to see every time they did pop up, and every character we see, we again you understand their dilemma, and each time you see them, you see a smaller bit of their dilemma move in a direction. And again, it's like these few moments, and it's really really good. I really really liked and enjoyed each of the characters that we do end up following. Uh, yeah, the songs are, they serve a purpose. They're not just, hey, it's a song. This is not Alvin and the Chipmunks. This is not just, oh, it's a song and it's just placed here for whatever. It usually fits the character in some cases, or it's for the purpose of, well, singing. It's the point of the movie. It's to sing. Um, and I like that. It's very to the point. It's very direct, And what I love even more about this movie is its ending. The ending really got me. So there's this one character that we are sort of following throughout the movie. Again, really quick glimpses. There's this shy elephant, and she's like, oh, very nervous about everything. Um, and she's told to be a stagehand in the back. And she's sort of doing that to the best of her ability. And then she does eventually pass that on as more and more people are leaving because the koala isn't able to obtain everything to the best of his abilities, which causes some animals to leave, which in turn makes him turn to her and say, hey, you should sing for me. That would really, really help. And that's the case. She ends up conquering her fear. Like, these characters that did have these weaknesses are realizing this is how I move on, and that's what I want to do. And that moment between them is really interesting. This movie also has a sort of liar revealed story, and again, it takes a turn, and I almost didn't even catch, like, it almost hit me in a way that is a bit more uncommon, I want to say, where the koala didn't have the money to provide to the winner, and that eventually uh, takes its head. It presents itself in such a way, and the characters are all there to witness it, and they do all sort of leave, and then a catastrophe does fall upon him as well. His building, that entire building, does fall apart. Uh, and then he's down on his luck. He's super depressed and all that. And then the characters actually come to visit him and say, "Hey, we know that was kind of crummy, but we're here for you." They extended out their uh, hands or paws or whatever to try and help him out. Even after that, uh, very uncommon. It's usually, oh, we hate you, and it's like, oh, forgive him later, sort of ordeal. So I like that they did that little spin on the liar revealed story. Uh, and everything comes full circle in this movie as well, which is really really fun. All the little mini stories. You have the pig, who the mom, very momish character. She has like a bunch of kids. Her dad is like constantly at work and stuff. We don't really ever see what he does, but he gets tired and he's just like, oh, whatever. And these characters that we see that are connected to the main characters are all watching the show that was almost nearly destroyed. The whole money thing came, and then there was like this bank collector was like, "Oh, I'm gonna shut this place down," and then they do for a while, and then they rebuild it, and then they put on their last performance, which the animals start coming in to see it as the performances progress and as these characters have been learning to hone in their skills on those songs. And you have the gorilla who I talked about. His father was like a criminal, and then he was a part of like this gang, and then he gets arrested with them, and then he's like, oh, in the trailer you see that he's like, oh, my son disappointed me, and then he sees him sing, and it's like, oh man, he's really really good. I have to go see him, and he actually breaks out of jail just to see him, and then decides that he's gonna go back and serve his time. Uh, and then that connection's made, and then you have the singer, the rocker. She gets broken up with because the guy's like, oh, I'm gonna move on to pursue music in this different way, and then she gets all distraught. She uses that weakness to make it into a strength. She writes her own song, and then she rocks out. Everything comes together full circle toward the end, and the shy elephant brings it all together with this lovely song. It's really, really captivating, really, really happy. It's a happy movie that has these weaknesses being sort of like this quick, oh, yeah, that's a thing in this movie, and you constantly see it, even though it's really really quick, and it's just so hard to describe. Like these small little moments just make up such a big part of this movie. And the last part I really enjoy about this movie is like the whole money thing comes into play again. They go to this rich woman, the sheep, who's like, oh, the theater, and she has a very classical vibe to her. They had put on the show for her, and that's the show that gets ruined, and then everything falls apart. And then she was there, she witnessed it, she walked away disappointed, and she had this money. But when they came back to do it the third or that final time with the family and then all the other people sort of moving in, like they earned that, but they earned it because not they were doing it for them. They were doing it because it was fun. They were doing it because it's what brought them together, and you can actually sort of see that connection shift. Like even the mouse, like he's a very swindler-esque type character. He gets into bad situations too. Like he owes money to this bear group at one point, and he also has this sort of ego complex about him, where he thinks he's better than everyone, and he adores getting the admiration because he is talented. Like that showboating he has, he's talented. Like yeah, it's like good, bad. It's like really, really good at this movie's really good at presenting this sort of duality of character, and like that money. It goes back to that. I feel like they earned it because they put on such a powerful performance. Every character was able to get out there and put out a show. They were able to have fun. They were able to express themselves. They were able to express their weaknesses. They were able to express their talent that people came to see, and they earned that money. Like it felt like it was earned, even though it was like presented in such a way where it's never really said like, oh, you earned this money. It was like, yeah, they earned that money. I felt like they totally did everything within their power to earn that money that night, because we've seen them on this journey. We've connected to one of them at the very most. You're probably going to connect to at least one of these characters. You're going to see yourself in one of these characters. You got to go, that's me. I felt that way in this movie, but I felt like I was sort of like a mixture of some of these characters because me, as I grew up, I had learned about one type of music, and then I was introduced to different types of music as I grew. So I felt like I was sort of bouncing between characters, but each one, again, just able to present their weaknesses in such a clever way. It's snappy, but it arcs all the way through, and it comes together. And yeah, it's just a fantastic movie. Sure, there are a few I think there's actually like one fart joke in there, which is fine. I get it. It's for kids too, because you gotta get their attention or whatever. They could have taken that out of the film, and this movie would have still been completely and utterly fine. But as the movie is, it's one of my favorite movies this year already. After only seeing it once, I definitely, like I said, this is definitely one of Illumination's best films. Uh, I'm having trouble finding any issues with this movie. Again, if I had to nitpick, I would have taken out that one joke. There's like with this one, whatever. Um, it's just a really, really good movie. I really enjoyed it. I would give this movie a 9.5 out of 10. I think this is one of the best animated movies. I think this is one of the best movies to come out this year. I'm really glad I, again, waited to hold my top or worst list of 2016 to see this movie because this is definitely going on that list. I can say that for sure right now. Uh, it's there. It really made me happy. And that's something, if I can take the time to say this now, that's rare. This movie made me feel happy. In such a crummy year with everything that has happened, all the drama, all the nonsense, put all of it aside. This movie was just fun to watch, and the characters were just fun to follow, and the music was just it connected with what was going on, and it was completely relevant because the movie's about singing. Like, if Alvin and the Chipmunks had done that, then that movie could have been so much better. And I'm talking about the newer version of Alvin and the Chipmunks when I say that, by the way. Um, this movie's just so good. Highly recommend watching this movie. Again, I cannot stress this enough. Definitely one of Illumination's best animated movies. Definitely in my top 10. Can't recommend it enough. So, with that being said, I'm Thomas DeSilla Jr., aka Mustache Chum, and I'll see you guys next time.